All right, Ken Weller here. For years, I've been around cars, seen them evolve, seen governments come and go with their bright ideas, but what we're facing now, heading into 2026, isn't a bright idea. It's a full-blown Category 1 shambles cooked up in Westminster. They've decided in their infinite wisdom that the future is electric, and they've put a gun to the head of the entire UK car industry to make it happen. The problem is, they've forgotten to ask the most important person in the whole equation, you, the person who actually buys the car. What they've created is a ticking time bomb, and we're all about to be caught in the blast. The government has laid down the law with something called the ZEV mandate. Sounds terribly official, doesn't it? What it means is that next year, over a third, 33% to be precise, of every single new car a manufacturer sells in this country has got to be a pure electric vehicle, not a hybrid, not something that sips a bit of petrol on the side, but a full-fat, battery-powered EV. This isn't a friendly suggestion or a gentle nudge in the right direction. This is a hard, non-negotiable target that has car company bosses waking up in a cold sweat every single morning, staring at the ceiling and wondering how on earth they're going to pull it off. And if they fail, well, the penalty isn't a slap on the wrist or a sternly worded letter, oh no. For every single petrol or diesel car they sell over their allowance, they get hit with a colossal fine of £12,000. Let that sink in. £12,000 per car. That's more than the price of a perfectly good used car. Multiply that by the thousands of cars they are projected to be over their limit, and you're talking about fines that could run into hundreds of millions of pounds for a single company. It's a financial punishment so severe, it could cripple them, forcing them to question whether it's even worth doing business in Britain anymore. So what you have is a situation where the government is essentially holding a gun to the industry's head. They are demanding that manufacturers force a product onto a public that, for very good reasons, isn't ready to buy it in the numbers required. It's a classic case of political ambition completely disconnecting from marketplace reality. They've drawn a line in the sand based on a spreadsheet in Whitehall, completely ignoring the queues for chargers at service stations, the cost of living crisis hitting family budgets, and the simple fact that a petrol car still works better for millions of people in this country. It's a recipe for disaster. And so why can't the car makers just sell more electric cars? Isn't it? It's a simple question with a complicated and frankly obvious answer. People aren't buying them in sufficient numbers. And it's not that people are against the idea of cleaner air or new technology. The problem is that for the average family, an EV is still a massive financial stretch. The upfront cost is significantly higher than for an equivalent petrol or diesel model. And with interest rates where they are, financing one is a hefty monthly commitment. People are looking at their household bills, the price of the weekly shop, and deciding that now is not the time to spend an extra 10 grand on a car. Then there's the charging palaver. The government dreams of a seamless network of super-fast chargers on every corner, but the reality is a postcode lottery. If you live in a nice house with a driveway, you can plug it in overnight, happy days. But what about the millions of us who live in flats or terraced houses with only on-street parking? Are we supposed to run extension leads across the pavement and hope nobody trips over them? And even if you find a public charger, you cross your fingers that it's actually working, that there isn't a massive queue, and that it won't cost you a fortune to use. Range anxiety is still a very real thing too. Yes, the newer electric cars can go further, but cold weather can slash that range dramatically, just when you need your heater and wipers the most. Imagine driving up to see family in Scotland for Christmas, watching your predicted range plummet as the temperature drops, and realizing the next available charging station is 50 miles away, but you've only got 40 miles of juice left. That's not progress, that's stress. For many people who rely on their car for long journeys or for their livelihood, that kind of unpredictability is a deal breaker. They need a car that works every time. Because of all this, the high price, the charging chaos, and the range worries, the demand for EVs has hit a wall. It's plateaued. Car makers have tried everything. They've offered huge discounts, 0% finance deals, and thrown in free charges, practically giving the things away, just to meet the government's 2024 targets. But that's not a sustainable business model. They can't keep losing money on every EV they sell. And now with the 2025-2026 target jumping from 22% to over 33%, they are facing a sales cliff they have absolutely no hope of climbing. The numbers simply do not add up. This is where the whole situation descends from a serious problem into absolute farce, because car makers absolutely cannot afford to pay those gargantuan £12,000 fines. They are left with only one logical, albeit insane, option. If they can't sell enough electric cars to meet the quota, they will have to artificially restrict the number of petrol and diesel cars they sell instead. That's right, they will be forced to stop selling the very cars that people actually want to buy, the cars that make them a profit, simply to avoid bankruptcy-level penalties from their own government. It is madness on an industrial scale. Imagine walking into a dealership next year, money in hand, ready to buy a new family SUV. The dealer, however, might have to tell you, sorry, we can't sell you that one. We've already sold our quota of petrol cars for the month. You'll see the exact car you want sitting right there on the forecourt, but it will be effectively forbidden fruit. Dealers will be forced to become gatekeepers, rationing their limited stock of internal combustion engine cars. They'll have to create waiting lists and decide who is worthy of being allowed to buy a petrol car. It's going to be a complete and utter nightmare for them and for you. This will create a bizarre and frustrating marketplace. Demand for petrol and diesel cars will remain strong, but the supply will suddenly dry up. Prices for the few that are available will likely stay high, and waiting lists will stretch for months. It will be a seller's market, but one where the sellers are terrified of selling. Customers will be left bewildered, unable to buy the car they need for their family or their job, all because of a government spreadsheet and frankly bonkers net zero eco ideology. The frustration and anger this will cause on dealership floors across the country will be immense. It pits the dealer against the customer, all thanks to a completely unworkable policy. This policy doesn't just hurt buyers, it threatens the entire ecosystem of the UK car industry. Think of the jobs at stake. If manufacturers are forced to limit sales of their most popular models, it directly impacts production volumes. Factories in Sunderland, Oxford and Halewood, which build these cars, could see production lines slow down or stop altogether. It puts British manufacturing jobs at risk and sends a terrible signal to global car companies about investing in the UK. Why would they invest in a country where the government's policies make it impossible to run a profitable business? What we're driving towards is a very messy, very confusing and very British car crash. It's a collision between rigid government ideology and the complex reality of consumer choice and economic gravity. The government wants to be seen as a world leader in green policy, which is a noble goal. But by setting targets that are so aggressive and so detached from the real-world pace of adoption, they are not accelerating the transition to electric. They are threatening to derail the entire UK automotive sector. It's performative environmentalism that will have severe, real-world consequences for ordinary people and businesses. The year ahead looks set to be one of chaos. We will see the rationing of popular cars, frustrated customers and salespeople caught in the middle trying to explain a policy that makes no logical sense. We will see manufacturers paying enormous fines, or worse, pulling models from the UK market altogether, reducing choice for everyone. This isn't a smooth and planned transition. This is a messy, painful and entirely self-inflicted wound. The disconnect between a mandate made in London and the lives of people in Liverpool, Leeds and Swansea has never been wider. It is, in short, a shambles. This situation puts the future of UK car manufacturing in a perilous position. Companies like Jaguar Land Rover and BMW have warned the government that these rules are more radical than anywhere else in Europe and are actively harming their ability to invest in Britain. Instead of supporting our own industry, the rules may end up subsidizing foreign competitors who can more easily absorb the costs. We risk losing jobs, losing investment, and watching our once proud car industry shrink, all because of a policy that values targets on paper over the health of the economy and the needs of the public. So as we head into 2026, brace yourselves. The UK car market is heading for a period of unprecedented turmoil. The government's electric dream is about to collide with a wall of reality, and the fallout will be messy for everyone involved. It's a classic story of good intentions paving the road to a very bumpy and potentially dead-end destination. This isn't the way to build a green future, it's the way to break a vital industry. Thanks for watching. If you found this informative, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more straight-talking analysis on the world of motoring. Cheers.